Welcome back to the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast, the recap of Stage 2 of the Tour of France from Tarragona to Barcelona. 169 kilometers long. We have 90 k's of flat to Viladecans. We start on the coast in Tarragona. We head north, east. It's on the coast, no crosswinds in this region. We sometimes have them further south. They go inland. They do a Category 2 climb, which has 5 KOM points available. There's an intermediate sprint at the bottom of that hill, where we did see who would be going for the green jersey today. Then a sort of shallow downhill kicker, 4K, 4%. There was mechanicals. In the zone between the Cat 2 and that false flat uphill, there was a load of action that started before we entered the circuit. And that circuit was 3 repetitions of the Montjuic Castle, about a mile at 9%. When you compare the profiles, it's actually the same as Redoute in Liège-Bastogne-Liège. It's harder than Saint-Hilaire last year on stage 4. And they do 3 reps of that, about 4 minutes, and then the descent off that very, very fast, high-speed descent, and then 3K to the line, then a slight kicker uphill to the line. It is, well, I think, yeah, today Benji was proof, if we needed it, that no one listens to us in the professional peloton. Because our preview last night was not adhered to in break formation today.
I think that's fair. But that said, I think we're on the ball with a couple teams there, because my take was Visma Lease Bike's not going to control because they don't want to give bonus seconds to UAE Team Emirates. So there's no real value in that team trying to get this to the peloton fighting for the stage win. They want the breakaway to take the seconds away. That's the reality of the situation. Even if it costs the yellow jersey for Jonas for a couple of days, who cares? They play the long game. Now, if we look at other teams, Alpecin with Mathieu van der Poel, I did not believe Mathieu van der Poel could make it over this parcours. I think that plan, like you mentioned, with La Redoute style, is too hard. And I think even further than that, I kind of expect them to try and go in the breakaway as an opposite hedge to that bet, because I don't believe they can do it from the peloton. Then with Volkela and Ghana, I do think we saw them in break formation trying with Ghana a few times. I think Volkela had another mechanical in break formation, so poor sod. And then Pinarello, we judged them to be one of the teams that could potentially do relays in the peloton to try and control breakaway formation. But while I said yesterday that it would have been fine for them to do so, the way they did it today, I'm not sure I agree with. Because it was already so clear that UAE would want the stage win by the time the break had formed, that I don't think Pinarello had to work at all for it to end up in a peloton game.
I agree. You know, they don't have to control at that point. But then I'm like, what else is... I mean, name the rider they were using to pull. So what else has he got on? So...
Fair game.
Let him pull...
Asparin is my pure guess.
He's a decent... Well, he's TT Natty Champ, I think, for Spain. No, second. Let them pull... No, he's Spanish Natty Champ. Or was it Camprubi?
Camprubi is national champ.
National champ. He rolled. Arietta got cramps. Anyway, what I disagree with is, like, you know, UAE come to the front with 4 at the start. They're like, we're going to control.
Yeah.
They got Pollitt. They got Wellens. And what are we in year? We're in year what of Pog being good?
Well, I would say
on these stages. I'm not on long times. On these stages, I think we're on year 8.
No.
He's always been class at these stages.
Even at Amgen Tour of California 2018, I'm not counting that.
2019, he was
2019 Vuelta?
Yeah.
I'm not counting that for this.
And let's say, okay, let's meet in the middle. We're on year 6 of Pog being almost unbeatable on these stages, particularly with no longer having prime Roglic.
Especially from 2022 onwards on these specific stages.
Like, we've seen what he can do. I mean, spoiler, Pog might not win today. I think he probably could have, is my analysis. What does it take for teams to, like, we're going to see these same teams. I know where me and you are like, if you speak to the average, like, old school cycling head, they'll be like, come on, you're being ridiculous. It's stage 2 of the Tour de France. You can't go on the breakaway. UAE would control you easily.
So, what are you going to do otherwise? You're going to lose anyway.
First of all, on stage 2, on literally the same parcours 2 years ago, the break did win with Kevi V. Secondly, with 90 Ks of flat beforehand, we have seen UAE, okay, Pollitt will come and try to control the first bit of break formation, you could test that theory. Look at the Ventoux stage last year. They wanted to win there. Actually,
P6?
yeah, loads of different stages. You can't just accept, oh, well, they'll control us. Okay, maybe, but you are not going to win from the peloton. And, well, let's say we have stage 10, break stage. Okay, you're going to win against Ben Healy? You're going to win against... who?
Stage 9 is a perfect example.
Stage 9. You're going to have 150 guys going in. Okay, good luck. So I was really surprised not to see more teams trying, to be honest.
I sometimes feel like teams going to the Tour de France and any Grand Tour really pointing out, okay, stage 9, stage 10, stage 17, those are the obvious breakaway stages. Maybe the one stage with the Mont du Chat in the last 30 kilometers, if I just invented that, it's possible. That is also one where the breakaway is likely to win the stage. Those are ones where they've got like a massive check mark of, this is our day.
They've ticked the clear break stages to go for. It's like, well...
And it's going to be easier to win from a breakaway that makes it on the not clear break stages, because it's not going to be 50 people in the breakaway or trying to be. But on the other hand, the chance that the break succeeds is lower. So it's like a balance.
Exactly. You got to look at this. I mean, they should all be doing a conditional probability matrix. And at Polti Cometa, they do that. And that's why, which break can Mirko Maestri have a chance to win? It's not the clear break stage. He nearly won the sprint stage.
Yeah.
In Milan.
With Versen's winning.
Yeah, Versen's won, but he was competing for the win in second. And so, yeah, I guess me and you look at it like...
Okay, hypothetically.
It's also like, what else, like I keep saying, what else have you got on?
Hypothetically, I'm Alpecin. I've got Mathieu van der Poel. What is your matrix for me?
Oh, obviously, you use the rouleurs Dillier. I know he crashed today, but you use the rouleurs Ricard and Dillier to help Verstringer and De Bruyne get in the break, make UAE control that. Then UAE have used their resources so they can't make the laps as hard, maybe. And Van der Poel has a bigger chance because it might be easier on the laps, or the break can win and those guys can win from the break.
I think that's completely correct.
But then again, people are looking to tomorrow's stage as a nailed-on break stage.
Yeah. But before we jump into the action, Patrick, if I want to go on a breakaway, better to fuel with Morton, right?
Exactly, particularly on hot days like this. We've got 37 degrees, so maybe some riders didn't want to get in the break. One of the biggest talking points after yesterday's TTT was the heat, was the hot conditions coming up. And yesterday's TTT, if you're watching closely, if you're checking on Instagram, if you're just following even on the side of the road or at the team buses, you'll see how many teams are using the Morton bicarb system. It's one of the key performance products in endurance sport right now. And it's almost like they don't have a monopoly on the market, but not just in cycling, but in running, triathlon, wherever, you see that basically this is the product of choice. And unlike Morton's gels or drink mix, this isn't just about carbohydrate fueling. The bicarb system is designed for those moments when you're riding or running about, just above your anaerobic threshold. So like during a TT. Athletes have used it for years to buffer the acidity that comes with those efforts, but the downside's been stomach issues, and Morton's hydrogel technology solves that problem. So if you'd like to learn more about the Morton's bicarb system or explore their full range of fueling products, head to morton.com. If you're stocking up on gels or drink mix for your own riding this summer, use the code LRCP Tour26 for 15% off until 10 August. Just remember, the code doesn't apply to bicarb or additions or be combined with other offers.
Okay.
Who's in the break then?
Before we go to the names, there was also a crash in break formation while the break was forming. I think Todd Hills and Benjamin Silfol were involved. I didn't see any major riders being out of contention as a consequence of that, so I assume that they're all relatively okay. But the breakaway did form with the likes of Engelhardt, one of Luke's boys, Alex Molenaar as well for Caja Frank van den Broek as well for Picnic Postenil. So a 3-man breakaway. And if I look at that breakaway, then I think, okay, this breakaway is simply not making it today. It also is not the amount of breakaway riders that will take away so many points classification points from the sprint. There's still a lot of sprint points available at the intermediate sprint for the peloton. So we're going to see that as well. And before we talk about the action in the breakaway, where Alex Molenaar was pretty strong, actually. I think he would be a competent World Tour rider, Molenaar.
And he's 10th in Flèche Brabançon.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair,
every Caja rider was top 10 in Flèche Vincent, but
three of them, right?
no, he's obviously like a above average, or maybe an average World Tour rider, which is a good rider. That means he's a 15th rider on a World Tour roster. That's a good rider. He's not a replacement level rider. He's above that, to use a baseball term. So, yeah, I don't know. He's half Spanish, I think. So he was racing for the Ilias Baleares team.
Correct.
And then Caja picked him up. I don't know where. Maybe he's going somewhere else next year. But
I want to bring it to the intermediate sprint. I'm going to confess. I was waltzing about in the glaring sun with sunscreen today, so I learned my lesson. But then my phone started overheating, so maybe my phone needs sunscreen, is my presumption based on that. I'll try that tomorrow. But my phone started overheating while I was watching the intermediate sprint happen. I've got no clue what happened there.
It was, so Tim Merlier lied to us. So he did follow for some green jersey points, but he didn't really contest the sprint. We saw Bini he went early on the right-hand side off Pedersen. Pedersen launched early. Philipsen got stuck on the left-hand side and then had to launch his sprint late. So, yeah, it was Bini actually winning that sprint for the 12 points. Okay. And
after his crash early in the stage.
Yeah, Bini looked good. Well, for that sprint, he looked good. So Bini's definitely going for the green jersey, which he won before. And, yeah, I think Merlier should... It's always like, okay, on this stage, he's going to get dropped on the climb. That's right. There's no sprint today. You never know what could happen. Why not Merlier just follow and come fourth, take a few points? You're regretting it in week 3 if you don't. It's like Van der Poel, who didn't go for the sprints and then he suddenly wanted to last year because the team's like, you could win green. I think it's silly not to just go for some points with the minimum of effort, which is what he ended up doing.
Especially knowing that the actual sprint stages come beyond the later portions of week 1. So that's I think the difference here. But we saw Pinarello controlling like we initiated earlier, and that's I don't think it was necessary because UAE had already pointed out that they would be the ones controlling in that breakaway formation phase. But we get to the last, I would say, actually before we get to the Del Toro Mechanical, I want to talk about the actual mid-stage climb, the Carretero del Bigues. I know that the profile is called the Bigues, but I wanted to give it its actual Spanish name in today's podcast. But the gap to the breakaway reduced to 50 seconds.
Less, 26, 24 seconds at one point. Vermeersch smashing. But I was like, are UAE really going that hard? Are they really? Because maybe Merlier's turning into a versatile sprinter, but no one dropped except Sikdali. It's a 6K, 6% climb. I mean, I'm looking at it right now, like, 6K is 5%, but the climbing sections are like 6%. Merlier didn't drop. I was like, are UAE really going that hard? And I thought, I was shocked, and again, forgive my naivety, but I was spamming in our chat. I was the whole time like, someone do a Romain Bardet 2024. I keep going back to the 2024 opening 2 stages because they're so similar. It was really hot as well, those 2 days. Try somebody, for the love of God. Like, somebody jump, because you're 30 seconds, get across the break, and then everyone's going to slow down in the peloton. And that's what happened. But no one jumped. I was like, anyway, it didn't happen.
I've got 2 takes on this. My first take is, I think the stage final might be too hard for that to actually work. That's my first take. My second take is, Tadej Pogacar is most likely winning this stage if it goes to the peloton.
Yep.
So what else are you going to do? You might as well try. If you're one of the 60% of the teams in this race that, let's be honest about it, have 0% chance to be relevant in the last 7 kilometers of this stage.
Yeah, I'm looking at, maybe...
Off of this?
The problem is, and it's fair enough, and I understand it because it's, it's the Tour de France, the biggest race of the year, but a lot of these teams who are maybe top 10 for the stage aspirational, top 10 on GC aspirational, it's just more straightforward to use, it's more straightforward to use Rob Stannard to position Lenny Martinez than try something with Rob Stannard. It's more straightforward for UNOX. I don't want to criticize UNOX, actually. They do try shit now and then in races. It's more straightforward for Movistar, instead of jumping with Cepeda or Garcia Pierna or Romo, to say the job today is to position Kian onto the circuit. Because it's more achievable. It's like a more realistic goal. So that's why teams gravitate towards that.
Yeah, but on one end, I don't think Kian's gap that he lost yesterday, which is a notable gap, is the all deciding factor for his top 10 in GC. But on the other hand, he has lost quite a bit of time to the point that I would like to see that team hedging their bets by doing other shit along the way. But anyway, that storyline to the side for a second, we've got Ozzy Del Toro. With 55 kilometers to go, I see someone standing next to a UAE Team Emirates car. I don't think it is Ozzy Del Toro. And that is because his team car passed him while he had a mechanical, to the point that Del Toro was then X amount of meters behind on the climb. They were uphill. So I don't think it's allowed for the team car to go backwards. They did drive backwards a little bit, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. So we saw the mechanic jumping out of the car, getting a bicycle, and jumping on the bicycle and riding backwards on the road towards Ozzy Del Toro. Now, I've checked the rules. I can't find anything that actually specifically bans this. So technically, it's allowed. I don't think riders are allowed to go backwards, but Del Toro didn't do that. Del Toro gets his bike, was 2 minutes behind because his car basically passed him, and had to kind of worm his way, slalom his way like an eel through the car caravan. And
he was,
if anything,
and he was pushing, like he was going full gas.
If anything, he was probably going too fast.
He was, like he didn't need to get back too quickly. And we saw the same thing happen twice, which is Pollitt. So the peloton does slow down, so that helps Del Toro. UAE obviously don't continue pacing.
Like Parquejo level.
They really were parked. They really, like, the break went from 25 seconds back to 55 seconds in 3 to 4 minutes. It's a false slide uphill. It's actually a horrible place as a climber not to be in the draft. Like having to, I know he's in the cars, but it's really because the peloton's still going full gas. Like, not full gas, sorry. The peloton still moves with huge amount of speed, and being in the draft is beneficial, but you're not on the flat where you can you're still pushing a lot of watts on the false slide uphill. So you could see him visibly pushing. Pollitt was waiting at the back of the peloton, and he gets back. So thanks to him. But I always think we saw, okay, how much did that? Shouldn't Pollitt have just waited? And then, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Well, it did matter for someone else, the same decision making, I think, as we were entering the circuit. So I thought there were a lot of punctures today. I don't know why. It could be the heat. It could be that, like I said, everybody runs TT tires now. It could be that they're on these highways, and the peloton's often, a third of the peloton's riding in the hard shoulder, which has a lot of shit in it. So it could be a number of those different things.
I feel like it was first Olaf Koy having the mechanical before we got to Paul Success. And Paul Success having the mechanical, we saw, I think, Aurélien Parepanche being the one that waited for him. Or maybe switch bikes with Parepan. I don't think so, right?
APP waited for Success.
Success switched with car. Then later he switched again to get back to his original bike is my assumption there. So 2 bike switches. And this is in the run into the first of the 3 Montjuic climbs. So the tempo through that third last climb is significant in the peloton. We see, I think, Trek shredding it. Is that correct? Simmons with a puncture?
It was Trek and then Simmons indeed. So Trek have had a lot of punctures recently, but Ayuso didn't, but Skelly did in the TTT yesterday. And yeah, we saw that drag race, and Sykes, I was like, where's Danhola? Like, Danhola is gone on the first hill. And it's also not that useful it's less useful to bring a guy from last position in the peloton to P10 than to bring him from 30 seconds behind the peloton, eating a shitload of wind the whole time, to the peloton. So we were all watching Sykes. They're about to enter the circuit. UAE going to go full gas, and we're like, where's his team? Where they got to wait for him. He gets back, but we're like thinking at what cost. McNulty then full sends the first hill. Like, I haven't seen the Strava times. We're going to see people upload that finish, Del Toro and Pog normally upload. You can see the times. I'm almost 100% sure they did the first rep, like, fastest.
Possibly. And we saw the consequence of that being that Pidcock was suffering in maybe 10th wheel. I think we saw much of Van der Poel properly suffering on this climb. Piganzoli in a bad position before the climb, but I feel like with Piganzoli, we've had a few moments already where he, in multiple races, seems to struggle in the run into a climb, spends maybe a bit too much energy in that positioning battle. Muro di Cadel Poggio at the Giro.
And the Montjuic circuit in Volta Catalunya, he got dropped early in the laps. It's like Sepp Kuss style.
Yeah, it's like, because the climb itself, he can handle.
And that's why riders like Vácek, McNulty, Del Toro, they absorb the like flat 30-second run in on the flat beforehand. They absorb the pedaling descent and the small sort of kickers. It's these guys like Kian, like Piganzoli, like Lipovic, like Otterbrooks, who are less explosive, less flat power. They seem to really suffer, and some guys lost proper time today.
But two things there. First of all, I would say that Volkela being dropped was a shock to me on that third last climb already.
No, like McNulty went full.
Yeah, but it's a group of what, 45 people?
Mm.
Volkela at his best should be there, I'm sorry.
Yeah, true. This is the guy that came second in Flesh twice.
This is the guy that in the Tour de France, was it last year in week 1? In the sketchy hilly stages?
Yeah, he was
prominent.
Top 6, top 7. He was attacking. He
should be there.
You're right. He should be there. So he's not in top shape. But yeah, we see McNulty full, but then there's no takeover. So Del Toro we didn't see. Yates we didn't see. Pog was in the wheel of McNulty. And yeah, we think, okay, is Pog going to go on the second lap? We get to the second lap. And then we see it's still McNulty. The whole time McNulty. And then it's not as fast as the first time. Less guys are dropping. Then we see Quinton Pacher be taken out by a Colombia flag, gets caught in his disc brake. Then last Montjuic, big lead out. I think Vácek positions Ayuso fantastically.
Yeah.
We don't see where Sexas is. Tish Benoit, we were saying it beforehand. We were like, Tish Benoit, where is he? Like normally, like he cooks on these. If you watch last year's stage 2 on the Boulogne stage, he redlines everybody on a short hill.
And to be honest, I like Benoit a lot for these kind of stages. And he looked like he was cagey at the back, waiting for his moment of that group going into that last climb. But I'm not sure I think what Benoit did on the last climb was good at all. Because
I agree. Yeah.
He basically shreds the last Montjuic climb from the start. In doing so, Paul Sixas is not in the wheel. Paul Sixas is moving up while Benoit is pacing. He's making it harder for Sixas to move up. He should be with Sixas moving him up in the same way that I think Jorgensen was doing for Jonas.
I mean, Benoit might have survived this whole climb. Nah, maybe not. But like Yates was not coming up to pace. Del Toro was not going to attack. Benoit, as you said, we were like, he should be using this energy when there's so the climb is in 2 parts. The first part's a steep kicker and it's short. Benoit goes full there. Then there's a little flatter section. He should have been using his energy to move Sykes from P12, like Jorgensen moved Vingegaard up, move him into the Remco Jonas zone. That doesn't happen. And he keeps it stretched. And then Yates moves up. He keeps it stretched again. But then it stops. And we're all counting. We were all counting down. 350 meters, 300 meters, 250 meters, 200. We're like, Pog, when's this going to happen? The peloton goes flat across. We see Richie Carapaz moving up. We see Johannesson moving up. We saw Del Toro was constantly fighting Vingegaard for the wheel of Pogacar and trying to take Remco and Jonas off that wheel.
That was interesting. That's what I'm looking for. The fact that Del Toro was continuously on not just this climb, but the one before and the run in towards that last climb, just trying to fight Jonas for the wheel of Pogacar. It made me first think, okay, it means Pogacar will attack and they're trying to use Del Toro as the sweeper in the wheel to make sure that Jonas can't instantly react to make it easier for separation to happen. That was thought process 1. Thought process 2 was when I saw that it was 300 meters to go. And I thought to myself, if Pogacar attacks here, I think not just Jonas follows.
No, Remco was looking pretty good at that point. We saw that Lipovic was suffering big time. Ayuso was really suffering, actually. He was like sliding quite fast. And I thought Pog was going to do the don't do the early attack like on Saint-Hilaire where Vingegaard can come back. I thought he was going to do the burst over the crest and get Vingegaard on a second or 2 seconds, and then do it like that. No attack comes. Johannesson goes over the top. Maybe he takes the KOM points for the Cat 3, and we see then no control on the descent. Schelmoser attacks on the descent. Del Toro then comes to the front. He starts controlling, and then there's a fast right-hander. Del Toro takes the fast right-hander better than Vingegaard. Vingegaard then gets squeezed a bit by Schelmoser onto the barrier. They're going straight into a kicker. Vingegaard full sprints back into the wheel of Del Toro and then gets dropped out of the wheel. Pogacar then comes up, looks at Del Toro. Remco is also suffering, and then Pogacar basically puts the brakes on and lets Del Toro win the stage. The sort of descent split behind Remco put everyone else on a gap. And Del Toro wins his first Tour de France stage. UAE 1-2, Pogacar second, Remco third, Vingegaard fourth, then a 3-second gap to Schelmoser, who did attack. I think he would have been with them without the attack.
Yeah.
Good on him for playing for the win. Because there was no control. Johannesson sixth, he was good. Gregoire seventh. And that's like I said, like, this was the race situation where you would say, Groupama, they do have a chance to win. Because it was a group of 15 with Gregoire. And still, people overestimate, but a group of 15 might go to the finish. It's like, but you still can't win. Pog could have won with seconds today.
Exactly.
Sorry, Lenny Martinez 8th, Paul Sixas 9th, Peacock 10th, Van Aertveld 11th, Ayuso 12th, Van Wilder 13th, Carapaz 14th on 7 seconds, Lipovic loses 10 seconds, Kian loses 27 seconds. They're the last of the GC men.
Okay. First reaction, pretty feisty start to the Tour de France. Jonas Vingegaard and Visma Leasebike winning the team time trial, followed by UAE Team Emirates striking back after controlling the initial part of the stage. And then at the end, it is not Pogacar, but Del Toro winning with a descent attack. And about Del Toro being potentially, quote-unquote, gifted by Tadej Pogacar this victory, the first reactions I saw on social media were kind of mixed, where it's like, super cool, super nice that Pogacar gives his victory to Del Toro. Some other reactions were pointing out, so arrogant that Tadej Pogacar thinks that he can afford losing these 4 bonus seconds, etc. I've got a few takes on that. Firstly, this Tour de France is not going to be won by 4 bonus seconds. This is completely irrelevant. That's part 1 of my take on this. Part 2, I don't agree with the arrogance here. For me, the arrogance aspect is more applicable to, was it a D-Work set the Lotto Touringen Tour 2-3 years ago, where they tried to give the stage with Lotto Kopecky to Christine Majerus, in doing so losing the stage? It's not because they lost the stage that I find it arrogant. It was because they were clearly trying to get their lead out to win as their initial plan to begin with. That for me is, we're so much better than the rest. We can start playing games for these victories. I don't like that. Today is different because Del Toro rightfully beat Jonas for the victory, dropped him in the descent. Jonas could not beat Del Toro today. And then Pogacar saw the gap and reacted and said, okay, I can pass my teammate, or I can finish second. In doing so, finish second. I think that's a perfect play. I think that's not arrogant. I think that's nice by Pogacar to do so. And I don't think it will have a consequence on the final GC. And for the rest of the race, I think Del Toro will be pretty happy to ride for Pogacar whenever needed.
I'm not sure that's their plan.
Doesn't need to be their plan.
It's not that I don't think that's their plan. I think, but yeah, on the point of, should Pogacar do this? Pogacar, he wouldn't have cared about the time loss yesterday in the TTT.
Yeah,
12 seconds. It's just an acknowledgement that the Tour de France, we went through it on the preview, it's been won by minutes gaps between these two for the last 5 and 6 years. So, Pogacar could have taken a 2-3 second gap here. He could have taken another 4 bonus second delta on Vingegaard. Pogacar could have taken the yellow jersey today if he goes all out to the line. I think it's just an acknowledgement that he just doesn't think it's going to be won by 5 or 6 seconds, this Tour de France. And then on UAE's plan, I think this was always their plan to win with Del Toro and win in this fashion. And you saw Del Toro and Pogacar speaking. They want to create a situation where no one else has teammates or teammates that can do anything. Vingegaard had no teammates. Schelmoser, he was trying to attack, but no one, Ayuso couldn't really counter. This is how Del Toro won the Tour Down Under stage. This is this seated power attack where he's bigger. Him and Pog are bigger and more powerful than these other small punchy. They're bigger. Carapaz, Van Eytvels, Vingegaards, they're bigger than them.
And I think Del Toro's a bit more daring than the majority of riders in the peloton. And I think that matters a lot in this Catalunya descent as well. I always call it Catalunya descent because of Montjuic. But I do want to point out a little bit of a message I got from my mom after the stage. Very nice of Poca with a C, which we're going to skip that detail. So friendly, so lovely. It's like he won himself. So happy for his teammate. And I think that's a perfect example of how mainstream cycling fans also view it, because we always view it from we watch every race, including the Tour of Azerbaijan being won by Ahmet Erkin in 2018. I just invented that from the top of my head, so definitely not true. While mainstream cycling fans are probably watching the sport probably more emotional than we do these days.
What do you mean more emotional? You mean people, they're not robots who just talk about why it's game theory optimized to go on the breakaway today.
Exactly.
It's like but what about the dream of taking the yellow jersey? Well, yeah, if you want the dream of taking the yellow jersey, you should have gone on the breakaway. So, yeah, I don't know.
Are you offended by being called a robot?
I'm calling myself a robot.
Are you a lizard like that Facebook dude?
Yeah, could be Steve Jobs in my computer. So, UAE 1-2. Vingegaard loses half his TTT gain on Pogačar. Pogačar 6 seconds behind him now in GC. Remco moves into third. Remco looked very good. 15 seconds in behind Vingegaard. He takes 4 seconds back on Vingegaard, but loses 2 to Pogačar. Del Toro moves into fourth on 16 seconds. Ayuso, he was struggling. He moves down to fifth. Sykes, he moves up 4 spots onto 42 seconds. So he's still in the top 10, not in the top 5. So the join discount doesn't change tonight. But I think he's coming for Ayuso.
Wait for Tourmalet.
I think he's coming for Ayuso. Gregoire in 7th. Lenny 8th. No, sorry. Lipovitz 8th. Lenny 9th. Pidcock 10th.
Okay.
What does this mean?
Can I be completely honest? I don't think this means anything for GC. This is the exact, maybe not Del Toro winning, but this outcome, the time difference between Pogačar to Vingegaard on today's stage, is exactly what I expected. Did I maybe expect Vingegaard to not drop in the actual last few hundred meters? Maybe in my head that didn't happen, but I'm also not surprised by it. This Tour de France will not be won on a stage 2 punchy stage, and my take going into the stage was Tadej Pogačar is the favorite. And if it goes to the peloton, he will win the stage. So this is what we expected on today's stage. I see the same view that I had before the stage, and we'll see if the mountains change that.
Yeah, I think it means UAE have the two. UAE definitely have the strongest duo in the race, like right now. Like Del Toro and Pogačar is a much stronger combo than Remco and Lipovitz, than Vingegaard and Jorgensen.
For sure. And that said, like, I also don't think this matters much for my take on what happens with the white jersey. Like, I know we both have... No, actually, I know I had Del Toro for the white jersey. I think you randomly...
I think I picked Del Toro for third on GC, but not winning the opposite white jersey.
Or you have Del Toro for white and Success for the third place. You didn't want to have the same as me.
Which is mathematically impossible.
Hedging your bets is what I see.
What can we take from this?
Lipovitz?
No, Lipovitz was already dog water on these stages last year.
How much did he lose?
10 seconds, he'll take it.
Okay, it's actually not that much.
10. He lost 30 seconds on the Saint-Hilaire stage last year. 30 seconds. He lost 10 seconds, he'll take it.
Of course.
But it's 20 seconds to Del Toro. So that's 20 seconds is not nothing. I think Ayuso, like when I'm looking at who should be good on these stages.
We always say that, but
shouldn't he be? Isn't he like explosive? Isn't he also the same size as Del Toro? Shouldn't he also hope with the run in and the flat, the pedaling descent better than the other guys?
I kind of feel like it's a misconception. I feel like in Grand Tours, we've never seen it. In like Weglia and so forth, we've seen it.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it at the Giro last year before he crashed.
And he's never done an Ardennes campaign.
Correct. Maybe there's a reason for it.
Yeah, the reason was I think he crashed in 24 and then Pog does
again,
and then he wasn't allowed to do race with Pog. I think that was the reason for it.
And he crashed again this year at Paris-Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, San Seb, he's never been... Has he won San Seb? Nah. I don't know. I kind of thought he'd be good at this, but
I'm always a bit worried about Juan. Like, perhaps even more than Remco, that
I
his
think
peaks are solid. When he's at his best, he's good.
I think Remco is going to be just straight up good this race.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Podium candidate.
Yeah.
But if one thing happens wrongly, then I'm not sure how we'll cope with it mentally.
Like what happened with Del Toro with the bike today, where they drove past and then he came back. Like if that happened to Remco,
That happened with 20 kilometers to go.
Yeah, but that'd be bad for anybody. Tomorrow stage from Granollers to Les Anglais, we go across the border. We're into France. We're in the Pyrenees, inland of Perpignan. There have been some bushfires or forest fires. Apparently, there's a risk of the stage being cancelled with the fire risk, with the heat. We don't know more than that, but we're going to preview this as if it's going to go ahead.
That's very, very
yeah, but what else can we do? So
I'll look for an update in the meanwhile.
It's 200 kilometers long. We start with an uphill, so that does make it easier for break formation to happen tomorrow, because today it was on a big flat highway. 8K 4.5%. Then we have a long flat section of about 80 kilometers. Then we have the Collada de Toses, which is pretty hard. 4K is 9% at the end. It's a category 1 too, so for KOM points, there's 10 on offer. The intermediate sprint at Camp de Vagnol is also on the flat, so I think we'll see the same as today behind the break, if it's not a big break. Then a descent, and then another gradual climb, the Col du Calvaire, which is 11.5 Ks, 4.2%, which I think... that's after Bugferrada, which is... They go past the enclave at Livia, I think.
What is
near
that?
Andromeo. It's an enclave, so it's like... There's the Spanish-French border.
Okay.
And then in France, there's then a town completely surrounded by France, which is also Spain.
Luke and I have that relationship between Belgium and Netherlands as well, with Baarle-Hertog, which is
there's a few like that.
Yeah. In between, but
there's one in Maastricht. There's an enclave in Maastricht, isn't there?
I swear the enclave is a faction in Fallout that is religiously against technological artifacts from the pre-apocalyptic events. Just putting that out there.
Okay.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
If this podcast gets, what is our usual likes level?
I've never checked
it. If this podcast gets 2,250 likes, Patrick and I are going to do a podcast about our favorite movies.
Okay, fair enough. We then have, after that climb, rolling hills. What is my favorite movie?
No spoilers. No free promo.
The assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. Then we have a descent.
Jesus Christ.
1.7 Ks, 7% Les Anglais climb. There's a kicker at the end. It's strange old stage, because you look at that, you're like, that's nothing. That's less hard than the climb today. And you're right, but it's at 1,800 meters. So the average altitude of this climb is 1,750 meters. High, 200 Ks, UAE one today.
Patrick,
it's break.
our entire chat is saying that the stage is cancelled, and I can't find it on the internet.
It's not cancelled. Otherwise, it would be like we're on the ASO mailing list. Like ASO also would tweet that it's cancelled.
Sporza has posted a adapted profile already, and without public. So the third stage would be ridden adapted parkour, so you'll have to go to parkour again, and there wouldn't be allowed to be spectators by the side of the road, which you love that, but it's not for a good reason here.
There was a guy in a banana suit today. I was just hoping someone put a Sonny Bill Williams hit on that guy the whole time.
This is the new profile, by the way.
Okay, Benji, show me the new profile.
Is it the same? Probably not.
Benji, that's the same profile.
It says it's adapted.
I mean, unless the one on PCS already adapted. No, that's the same profile. Like, what do you?
I didn't post the article.
Don't trust Belgian Flemish journalism.
Now, half the chat is saying that isn't cancelled. They're playing with us. They're playing with us.
All right, so I'm going to proceed like I was. Surely tomorrow's the break.
Yeah.
Uphill start. UAE got their victory. people have been given their reality check today that you are not going to win tomorrow. You're not going to win against Pog on that finish.
Ooh, start list wise. Let's take a look at the candidates. Ben Healy?
Nah.
Level I'm not confident in. Carapaz too close in GC? Some team will care.
Carapaz again. Is he going for GC or not?
He's doing the typical Landa.
He's doing the Ciccone, Landa. Like, if Carapaz just lost 3 minutes today, he'd be allowed in the break tomorrow, and he could probably take the time back and get the chance to win the stage. So, yeah, break. I'm going to go again for Aaron Baru. Or Izagira. Izagira looked... Where did Izagira today?
I don't feel the Aramburu pick if I'm being completely honest.
I want someone who was good today but is disrespected.
Not vocal, eh? Even though
No, I'm looking...
on break it's possible. Romain Gregoire, is that too hard for him?
No. I got a pick.
What are you saying?
Tobias Foss with an anticipatory move on the 4% climb. Foss was decent today, top 20.
And from my memory, we always get a random winner on a stage that is semi-cancelled.
I'm going Foss.
Who doesn't like people? Who will be in the breakaway because they don't like spectators? That's my search history here. Wow. I don't think Red Bull's gonna go in the break.
No.
I don't think Visma's really gonna try.
You don't know. I think
it's Crash, so I'm not really
I think
sure.
Red Bull do kind of go in Grand Tour breaks pretty aggressively.
Ay.
Schmidt.
I'm random take. Matthias Vacek from the breakaway.
It's not random. He was class today.
Yeah, but on paper, the profile would not suggest a standard Vacek, but his level in climbing right now is so good that he should be able to do it.
And they can make the other, like the smaller punchers, suffer on those 4% climbs. That's why I went with Foss. McNulty's a great shout. I think this is, when in doubt, who do you pick when in doubt? A UAE rider.
I'm not having it.
I'm going, yeah, we're looking at Vacek, McNulty, Foss. They're the sort of riders. Romo, I like those sort of riders for this.
Vuelta, Patrick. McNuggets is sitting in the peloton tomorrow.
No, McNulty was really good today.
I agree. But I don't think he's going to break it.
You think UAE are doing everything to maximize taking every second? Or you reckon...
Yeah, they did today, right?
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
They've got 2 GC riders to cherish now.
I think McNulty might have that freedom. So, all right, that's my pick is Foss, but you know who we both like for it.
Aramburu.
In the Del Toro's in the points jersey, ahead of Molinar. I think Molinar will go back in the break.
Small thing. Yesterday we spoke about Gunnar being the fastest on the climb.
Yeah.
Turns out that it was Pogacar.
Gunnar was the fastest on the hills zone, maybe.
I don't know. The one thing that we have to correct though is that we were right. No, that's bullshit. We were not right. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to correct it. The KOM was not given at the second time check. It was given at the time between T3 and the finish, which I don't like actually.
There's a descent in that.
Yeah, I want it to be given for the time on the climb. It didn't matter because I think Pogacar was the fastest on the climb anyway. But the concept needs to be changed. The time should be at the bottom of the climb.
I never saw so much discourse in my life of compartmentalizing a segment of a TTT and then extrapolating individual performance for later road stages from a part of a TTT segment.
That is irrelevant for the clowns, by the way.
It's like Pogacar went faster than Remco and Yo. It's like Sykes and Remco had to do the whole thing solo. I mean, and so, but also, that also doesn't mean that I think Remco and Sykes are going to be better than Pog on the long climbs. It's just irrelevant. It's a different discipline. It's a different effort.
The one thing, Gunnar was so strong, that is one thing to note.
Yeah, he was class, yeah. Any other news? Lorenzo Finn took his first professional victory in Sibiu Tour today on the Balier. No, it wasn't the Balier climb.
They changed it, right?
It must be too hot. They changed it to the Valdinas Arena climb. No, Balier tomorrow. They have 2 uphill finishes.
Yes.
Huh. He beat Byron Munton, Pablo Torres third. Munton's still in the game.
The Finster delivered.
He did. Why did Munton lose so much time in the prologue? Can people let us know what happened to Byron Munton in the TTT, in the ITT yesterday? It makes no sense.
I don't know either. We've got a man on the ground in a Romanian Twitter dude.
No, he's a good time trial. He must have crashed. Munton, he lost 35 seconds in a 3K TT. He must have crashed or punched.
Not great.
No, but Munton was. Did you know this? He was top 20 in World Champs TT last year.
Well, I do want to add to that the World Champs TT is not representative of the top 20 riders in the time trial of the world.
Yeah, but
because it's so cemented that you've only got 2-3 riders per country, so there's a massive gap between the top 10 and the top 20 and the top 30, right?
Yes. On the other hand, I think it is indicative that his level is better than Victor Alexandru Aron on the Romanian Natty team who beat him.
Yeah, but I do want to talk about how did Lawson Craddock do at the Tokyo Olympics time trial, Patrick?
Not good. But I don't know what that has to do with Byron Munton. Modern adventure.
Why
Anyway,
am I bringing that up?
Because he did really badly. And I picked him to like top 5, I think.
Patrick figuratively was like, I'm going to bet the house on him.
I legit thought he was going to win that TT. Didn't happen. I thought he just wasn't heat adapted. You know, these things happen.
Yeah.
It was before heat training.
Young yesterday.
Maybe he shouldn't have pulled on the flat in the TT. Anyway, that was the preview of tomorrow's stage. Hopefully it goes ahead. Hopefully the weather cools down. Hopefully there's no fires, and hopefully it's safe to do so. Thanks for listening as always. Thanks to Morton. See you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.